is one of the colors in America's autumn and has been since 1869 when Princeton and Rutgers played in the first game, and later when Harvard and Yale started their rivalry. College football has become a part of our lives, and its traditions and symbols a part of our culture. And tonight, one legend will leave the game after 25 years and countless compelling moments at Nebraska. Tom Osborne makes his final tribute to the game he loves tonight. And a college football folk hero, Peyton Manning, spirited and strong in body and heart, raised with a passion for the game, will play his last as a volunteer. Tennessee and Nebraska, more college football history tonight.
CBS Sports is proud to welcome you inside Pro Player Stadium, just north of downtown Miami, Florida. It's the FedEx Orange Bowl, the first ever meeting in football between the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the Tennessee Volunteers. Final game of this college football season. Final game of the glorious careers of Peyton Manning and Tom Osborne. Here come the Tennessee Volunteers. The Vols are 11-1. Their only loss at Florida back on September 20th, 33-20. And now the Cornhuskers. Nebraska 12-0, the Big 12 champions, having defeated Texas A&M in the Big 12 championship game in San Antonio on December 6th. We have coverage on each sideline. Let's begin with Ed Cunningham.
Hey, thanks, Sean. Tennessee, the wind is going to affect them a lot more than it does Nebraska. Peyton Manning especially, his plant leg is his right leg. That's where the injury occurred. As he goes to plant and throw the ball may flutter a little bit in these high winds. Also, Dwayne Goodrich, a starting cornerback, will not start tonight. In his place, Gerald Griffin, a sophomore, who made 2 starts on the season, had an interception against UCLA. For a report on Nebraska, let's go over to Michelle Tafoya. Michelle?
All right, well, 2 quick Nebraska injury updates. Jason Peter has a strained lower back muscle. He'll play with a protective device while he's playing tonight. And fullback Joel Makovica has a strained left hamstring and a sore right knee. He'll play with neoprene sleeves on both, and he'll have that knee scope within the week. One final note on the emotions of this Nebraska team. Scott Frost told me, we feel privileged to be playing in Tom Osborne's final game because will be the last thing he remembers about his coaching career. Back upstairs to Sean and Terry.
As Ed Cunningham mentioned, the wind could be a factor, particularly for the Tennessee passing attack, and they'll be going directly into that 14-mile-per-hour breeze to start the game. As Tom Osborne's Huskers will kick off, Tennessee won the toss, and Philip Fulmer elected to receive. Cedric Wilson is back deep for the opening kick. He's a true freshman from Memphis, Tennessee. Ordinarily, they have Dwayne Goodrich back returning kickoffs, but as it was mentioned before the game from Ed Cunningham, he has an injury. A quad muscle pull. Chris Brown kicks off. The junior from Southlake, Texas, puts his foot to the ball, and the final game of this college football season is underway with a touchback. '60-year-old Tom Osborne in his final game as Nebraska coach. So many memories from the Orange Bowl. In recent years, they've been sweeter memories. Peyton Manning in his final game. He holds every passing record at the University of Tennessee. 1st and 22. The quick hitter caught for a short gain. Out across the 12 goes Fearless Price, tackled by Erwin Sweeney. The Tennessee backs and receivers, 3 wideouts to start the game. Jermaine Copeland, Peerless Price, and Marcus Nash. Their leading receiver, Sean Bryson, an excellent pass-catching fullback. And Lewis is the tailback. And up front, from left to right, Clifton Riley, Teague, Hamilton, and Coleman. Teague, an all-conference center. The coaches say the strength of that line, the tackles, Clifton and Coleman. Jamal Lewis out to the 14-yard line. The true freshman, leading freshman rusher in the nation this season, averaging 114 yards per game. Tripped up by Tony Ortiz. Great front 4 on defense for Nebraska. Grant Wistrom won the Lombardi Award. Jason Peters, an All-American. Wilson Rucker, the rest of the front. The linebackers are Jay Foreman between Tony Ortiz and Octavius McFarland. The leading tackler on the defense is the rover Mike Brown. Ralph Brown, the right corner. Erwin Sweeney, the true freshman at left corner. And Eric Warfield at free safety. 3rd down and 16. Shovel pass. Sean Bryson to the 20 and tackled by Jay Foreman. 10 yards short of the first down. The holding penalty really hurt.
Well, you really have to wonder, Sean. Tennessee came out, had good protection on the first pass play of the game. The line did protect them. Then all of a sudden the holding penalty really set them back. Here they out of the shotgun formation. They run just a little shovel pass underneath. But the speed and the mobility of the Nebraska defense, that's going to be the tough thing on the Tennessee offense tonight.
Chris Hogue ready to punt now into that 14-mile-per-hour breeze. It should be excellent field position for Nebraska. Hogue, what a kick into the breeze. A boomer. It sends Bobby Newcomb back to the 20. That rolls inside the 5, and it looks like it will stop near the 2. What a kick by Hogue. By far the longest of his career, 78 yards. His previous long was 52, and that 78-yarder is just 4 yards shy of the Orange Bowl record.
Sean, in big games, coaches talk to their teams before coming out about turnovers and field position. That kick by Chris Hogue was dramatic in terms of field position.
He wasn't even the starting punter at the beginning of the year. He was the backup, but the freshman David Leverton had trouble. Scott Frost, hands off. Joel Makovica stopped with very little, perhaps a half yard. Raynoch Thompson led the surge for the Tennessee defense. The Nebraska quarterback is Scott Frost, the senior from Wood River, Nebraska. Started his career at Stanford after 2 seasons there. Transferred back to his home state university, and this year he became the 10th quarterback in Division I-A history to pass and rush for more than 1,000 yards in the same season. Chris McCoy of Navy also accomplished that feat this year. Frost keeps on the option. Out across the 3, and that's all. Torrey Noel, the strong safety, up to make the play on the Nebraska quarterback.
Nebraska backed up here in their own territory wants the best player on their team with the ball. That's Scott Frost on the option, but the speed of the Tennessee defense, the quickness and mobility of that defense played the play perfectly.
On 3rd and 9, Frost has a man open. It's too high. He was looking for the tight end, Sheldon Jackson. Jonathan Brown applied some pressure on Frost and forced a hasty throw.
Well, one thing Nebraska does not like to do is throw when you expect them to throw. That's exactly what happened here. Scott Frost does not want to be in a throwing game tonight. They want to surprise you with the play-action pass. They hate it when they're behind the down and distance.
Terry Fair has the same injury as Peyton Manning, a bursa sac injury. Back to receive the punt from Jesse Cush. And his first punt is a beauty, but he had the aid of the breeze. Fair bobbled it. Retreated all the way back to the 33. And he is stopped at the 37-yard line. A 56-yard punt by Cush, and the punters are the story here in the first 4 minutes. No score. Tennessee back on offense in a moment. One of the joys of coaching for Tom Osborne, serving as offensive coordinator. He's working in that role at the moment on the Nebraska sideline. That's another one of the reasons he decided to get out of coaching. He felt because of his heart condition that he just didn't have the ability to work the kind of schedule that it takes to be the offensive coordinator and the head coach. Here is Lewis fighting for a couple out to the 43, tackled there by Jason Peter. Lewis rushed for 1,364 yards this season, and you have to remember he started only 9 games. He was not the starting tailback at the beginning of the season. In the first 3 games of the season as a team, Tennessee rushed for 100 yards, just more than 99. Since then, you see what they've done, a dramatic improvement, more than 168 yards per game on the ground.
Well, and it took Lewis a little time to learn pass protection, and in this offense, you have to protect Peyton Manning when you're a running back.
Second down, Lewis trying to get outside. He has a great combination of power and speed, and he's across midfield. Mike Rucker made the tackle. That's a gain of 8.
This is what I was referring to. Tennessee, if they become two-dimensional, if they can run and throw the ball, they can attack the Nebraska defensive team effectively. If they are one-dimensional, they're playing into the hands of what Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator of Nebraska, wants them to do.
Lewis provided the first down of this game for either team. Ball at the 49 of Nebraska. Manning with time as a receiver. First down at the 31-yard line. Andy McCullough tackled by Ralph Brown, the senior from Dayton, on the receiving end of that pass from Manning.
And John, you said it correctly. Manning with time. That is the key. Peyton Manning had plenty of time to get back, get planted, and put that ball on the target. That is what will affect this team as much as anything. Give your great player, Peyton Manning, time to throw.
The pitch to Lewis. Bryson leading the way. Lewis hit hard and fumbled. And Nebraska has recovered. Ralph Brown knocked it out, and Mike Rucker recovered the fumble at the 21-yard line. What a hit by Brown. Then Rucker pounced on the football.
I said earlier that you're always concerned about field position and turnovers. That's what you preach to your team in the locker room before the opening kickoff. Jamal Lewis, a young player, just didn't have the ball put away quite tight enough, and consequently Ralph Brown gets off the block, makes a great tackle, the ball's loose, Nebraska recovers.
Tennessee showing blitz. They're up near the line. Amon Green out across the 25 to the 26. Well, Philip Fulmer said earlier this week his team cannot afford to make many mistakes against this talented Nebraska bunch, and he watched the first major miscue of the night.
Well, I'm sure Philip felt that they had points on the board there. They were certainly in field goal range as a minimum, and probably touchdown range.
Second and 6, no score. 4:10 remaining in the first quarter. Now one back look from Nebraska, and Green was hit immediately from behind. Excellent penetration by the Volunteers. Buxton, who's been a backup defensive tackle much of this season, forced into action with the season-ending injury to Billy Ratliff, who went out for the year with a knee injury suffered against Southern Miss. Makovica got the start at fullback. Lance Brown, Jeff Lake, and Tim Carpenter, who is not a pass receiver, at tight end. And an outstanding offensive line. Aaron Taylor was the winner of the Outland Trophy this year. Eric Anderson, the tackle, first team All Big 12. 4 fifth-year seniors and the junior Josh Heskew at center. Play action fake to Green. Frost throws. Man open. Caught. First down, Nebraska. Sheldon Jackson across midfield with the first down of the night for the Huskers. A gain of 25.
Sheldon Jackson is the best receiving tight end at Nebraska. He's going to come from this side of the screen, drag across the field. It's a nice counter pass by Nebraska. All of the Tennessee defense flowed one direction. Frost comes away from that flow, finds Sheldon Jackson. Great hand placement and concentration by the big tight end.
Joel Makovica back on the field for Nebraska. He got the carry and got 2 to the 46 of Tennessee, where he ran into Raynoch Thompson. The defense up front, Jonathan Brown, their leader in sacks, with 13.5. Duff, Green, and Terry, the rest of the front. Leonard Little, one of the best defensive players in the nation. First team All-SEC. Thompson and Wilson surround him. In the secondary, Griffin, Noel, Gaines, and Fair. Here's Frost throwing, on target again. Matt Davison, the true freshman from Tecumseh, Nebraska. Perhaps best known for his diving catch at the end of regulation against Missouri for a touchdown that forced overtime in that game against the Tigers, a game the Huskers went on to win in OT.
Well, Tom Osborne's been in a lot of big games, and he knows when you're playing against a fired-up defensive team that's really penetrating and flying to the ball, counter them. Play-action pass and counter plays, and that's exactly what that was, a play-action counter pass that was effective.
Nebraska starting to get in rhythm after the fumble by Lewis. Frost throws, looking deep, and is caught by Newcomb, and bodies out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Tackled by Torrey Noel. 21 yards on the throw by Frost to Newcomb.
This is what makes defending the Nebraska offense so difficult. It's the most effective and difficult offense in the country to stop. It's a play-action pass. They make it look like option, then Frost jumps back. Newcomb runs it inside, post corner route. He runs to the post and then back outside. The ball is thrown where either he catches it or no one catches it.
The option, he had to pitch it. It's Shevin Wiggins inside the 5 and down near the goal line. Gerald Griffin made the tackle that saved the touchdown. Wiggins, a wingback, taking the pitch, and he has Nebraska inside the 2, first and goal.
This is a 3-back play where it's the famous option play for Nebraska. Scott Frost takes the hit but dishes the ball off just beautifully. Scott Frost, half the time when you watch him play on the option, he doesn't even look where he's pitching the ball. He just flicks it out there, knows his wingman is with him.
Up and over and in for a touchdown. Amon Green makes it 6-0 Nebraska.
Watch the fullback, Billy Legate, number 40. He takes the place of Makovica. He's the lead blocker on the play. He's the one that isolated on the linebacker. Right there, number 40. He knocked Leonard Little out of the hole, which enabled Amon Green to score the touchdown.
Chris Brown out of the hole to Ted Retzlaff. After the fumble by Jamal Lewis at the 22 of Nebraska, the Cornhuskers went 78 yards. It took 8 plays. And Frost was 3 for 3 on the drive, with Tennessee concentrating on stopping the run. He hurt them with the pass. Chris Brown bounces it down the field. Nice hop for Cedric Wilson, the true freshman. He's in trouble and stopped short of the 20-yard line. Knocked down to the 17. Play clock at 3. Mark Levine now the tailback. He's out to the 21. Tackled by Tony Ortiz. Levine was the starting tailback at the beginning of the year before Lewis won the job.
You know, you go back, Mark Levine is now in the game for Jamal Lewis. Jamal Lewis right here with the ball. He has it in the wrong arm. He should have the ball outside, in the outside arm, away from all those defenders. I'm not sure that that necessarily is what caused the fumble, but you always fundamentally put that ball away from the defense.
Levine again, big hole. Mark Levine breaks free. Good move on Warfield, and he's tackled out at the 48-yard line by Carlos Polk, a backup linebacker. Gain of 27 for Levine. And Polk is slow to get up for Nebraska.
Nebraska wants to make sure they eliminate the running game. Tennessee has established early in this game that they are capable of finding some creases in that Nebraska front. So far, Levine found them, so did Jamal Lewis. It's encouraging if you're a Tennessee fan.
Jamal Lewis trotting along the Tennessee sideline, might have been injured on that hit that caused the fumble. Play action fake, a good one by Manning. He throws into coverage and it's almost intercepted by Mike Brown. He was looking for Marcus Nash and it was nearly picked off by the sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona.
Well, Mike Brown is the rover back for Nebraska. He read Peyton Manning's eyes. Peyton Manning was looking where he was throwing. Brown made a great break on the ball, very close to an interception that could have gone the distance had he been able to hang on to it.
Brown was an outstanding two-way player in high school in Arizona. The Arizona High School Player of the Year as a senior. He won the award as the best running back in the state and also the best defensive back. Manning. That pass deflected and intercepted by Eric Warfield. Warfield at the 30 and tackled from behind at the 25-yard line by Sean Bryson. Manning has seen this before. His receivers had a tough time hanging on in the SEC championship game against Auburn, and as a result, the Volunteers just did squeak out a victory.
Well, you have to wonder, Jermaine Copeland, number 6, the wide receiver, he is dragging across the formation, but Peyton Manning throws a hot ball here. This ball is an underneath route, and it needs to be a little bit lower and a little softer. It's a little bit hot. I don't say that Jermaine Copeland shouldn't have caught it, but it wasn't an easy catch.
Third interception of the season for Warfield, the only senior starter in the secondary for Nebraska. He hails from Texarkana, Arkansas. The end of the first quarter. The score: Nebraska 7, Tennessee nothing. We'll return to the FedEx Orange Bowl after this message and a word from your local station.
On the interception that Peyton Manning just threw, Jermaine Copeland, number 6, he comes across the formation on a little drag route. The ball certainly should have been caught. I would say, though, I've seen it on practice fields for 29 years. The ball, when it's a little bit high or a little bit hot, wide receivers have oftentimes tipped it up in the air as they did right there.
Carlos Polka was injured a couple of plays ago. Has his shoulder pads off and is heading to the locker room for Nebraska. He's a backup linebacker. Frost on first down, keeps and gets drilled right at the line of scrimmage. What a first half Raynoch Thompson is having. Let's get more on the condition of Carlos Polk from Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Sean, they took him to the sidelines, as you saw, and he was laying flat the entire time. They think he may have broken his right collarbone, so they're taking him back for x-rays, and we'll have more after that. Back to you.
2nd and 10. 7-0 Nebraska. They capitalized on the first turnover by Tennessee, a fumble. 178 yards for a score. Now at the interception, they're the 26. Newcomb in trouble behind the line and thrown for a loss by Jonathan Brown. Antron Peebles heading to the dressing room for Tennessee with his right shoe off.
Jonathan Brown, the left defensive end for Tennessee, plays the reverse play perfectly. It's a little counter play to number 12, Bobby Newcomb, the fastest player at Nebraska. But Jonathan Brown did exactly what his coaches told him to do, play the reverse.
Frost setting up a screen to Green. Leonard Little pulls him down from behind. Saw the great speed of Little, who's played most of his career lined up outside as a pass rusher. This year he's made the transition to middle linebacker, and no matter where you put him, he's a terrific player.
And Leonard Little playing in the middle here, runs underneath the block. He's man-to-man on the tailback. They tried to block him. He ran underneath the block. You can use that athleticism of his to track down Amon Green on the screen. Couldn't be played any better by a guy playing man-to-man coverage.
Jesse Cush Son of a former Husker. His father, Bill, was a defensive back on their 70 and 71 national championship teams. Jesse hangs it up high. Oh, another fumble! And a touchdown for Nebraska. Lance Brown ran it in, but it was a muff punt, so the ball will come back to the 15-yard line. But it's another key mistake by Tennessee. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Terry Fair could not handle the punt.
Sean, right before he dropped this punt, I was about to say what a terrific stop by the Tennessee defense. What a job they did on defense. But the muff punt obviously brings them back into a very difficult position, but they're going to have to rally here. They got to go right back in and say, hey guys, whatever we do, we can't give up a touchdown. Tighten it down and let's play defense and just suck it up and go.
You wonder if Fulmer will continue with Fair as the punt returner. He's had a tough time hanging on lately. Makovica breaks tackles. He's inside the 10. Down to the 8-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. Jonathan Brown and Gerald Griffin made the tackle. Tennessee fortunate now to just be down 7-0 with 3 turnovers, but it could be 14 shortly.
Well, you make a good point about Terry Fair. He had a couple fumbles on punt returns in the SEC championship game, and tonight the wind's a factor. There's no question when that ball gets up there, it's difficult to catch and hard to handle.
Cross pitches. Here's Chevin Wiggins again inside the 10. Touchdown!
This is the option play that Nebraska ran at the other end of the field that came up just short of the touchdown. Frost comes, fakes to the fullback, comes outside, and now all of a sudden finds Chevin Wiggins, his wingman, pitches the ball. Tennessee doesn't have enough support in the secondary. He goes into the end zone clean.
Chris Brown, still perfect this year in PATs, 64 for 64. Wiggins the touchdown. Philip Fulmer knows his team cannot keep turning the ball over. Sean McDonough and Terry Donahue, they were able to overcome the turnover problems against Auburn in the SEC championship game where the Vols, but they're playing a tougher team.
Well, it's going to be much more difficult for Tennessee to overcome those mistakes tonight. Already 3 turnovers and 14 points off 2 of the turnovers, and if they continue to do that, it's going to be a long night for Tennessee.
Chris Brown to kick off again. He bounces it. The short kick taken by Brian Darden, a backup running back. And quality field position for the Volunteers as Darden brought it out to the 38-yard line. 14-0 Nebraska. Cornhuskers hoping for a convincing victory to sway voters, perhaps earn at least a share of the national championship. Voters have been flip-flopping all year. Jamal Lewis back in the game. 2 hands around the ball as he dove to the 43-yard line where he was chopped down by Mike Brown.
You know, it's funny about turnovers. When we talk about turnovers, Tennessee 9 turnovers in the last 6 quarters. Sometimes they just come. You coach the same, you emphasize the same fundamentals, you talk to your players about them, but sometimes they just occur. In this particular turnover, the ball needed to be in the outside arm for sure. Maybe it could have been avoided.
On 2nd and 5, Manning. Flag thrown as Marcus Nash has a first down at the play stands. Erwin Sweeney made the tackle. Holding against Nebraska. That will likely be refused. Result of the play, a 10-yard gain and a first down. There's Grant Wistrom, including a brilliant career at Nebraska. Grant Wistrom is a pre-pharmacy major, very difficult major. He carries a 3.43 grade point average.
Well, he was a Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year in '96 and '97.
Manning, take the draw, throws, nice catch. His receiver helped him there, Jermaine Copeland, who had the costly deflection that led to the interception earlier. Made a nice sliding catch at the 34-yard line. 13 more for the Vols and a first down.
Well, Copeland is in the inside slot position. He's just going to run down the field. If you're a Tennessee fan, the thing that you have to be encouraged about is there are some holes in this Nebraska defense, both throwing and running. What you're discouraged about is you got to hang on to the football if you're going to take advantage of those holes.
Jamal Lewis, the lone back. Marcus Nash, the motion man. Lobbed out to Lewis. And he's bounced out of bounds after a short gain. Tony Ortiz put the hit on Lewis. Ortiz from Waterbury, Connecticut. Nebraska has players in the program from 26 different states. Ortiz, a state champion in track while he was at Crosby High School in Waterbury, won the 100 meters in Connecticcut and the 110-meter hurdles.
Nebraska has a lot of former track athletes on this team. In the early 1990s, Tom Osborne changed his philosophy and went to recruiting more speed, and they have plenty of speed on this squad.
Lewis down to the 30-yard line. Grant Wistrom and Jay Foreman combined on the stop. Foreman, the son of the former great Minnesota Viking Chuck Foreman. He switched numbers this year to wear the number worn by his dad.
Grant Wistrom here just on a little stunt to the inside, played it very well. He has a school record 58.5 tackles for losses throughout his career at Nebraska.
Big third down, 6 yards to go for a Volunteer first down. Tennessee trails 14-0. Manning throws short of a first down. We'll see where the forward progress is spotted. Mike Brown put the hit on Jermaine Copeland. Looks like the ball will be just inside the 27, meaning they're about 2 full yards short of the first down. So Philip Fulmer sends on the field goal unit.
Peyton Manning had to get rid of that ball a little quicker than he wanted to. There was pressure from Nebraska. He had to unload it. I know he's frustrated about that because he knows how critical that first down was.
Jeff Hall, the junior from Winchester, Tennessee, will try a 44-yard field goal. Benson Scott is the holder. That is right down the middle, and Tennessee is on the board with 8:28 remaining in the first half. Jeff Hall, Tennessee's 4th all-time leading scorer, gives the Vols their first points tonight. Jeff Hall to kick off. Griffin had to hold the ball. Chevin Wiggins has a seam, spins out across the 30 and goes down at the 34-yard line. Shovel pass to Green. Green trying to turn the corner. He does. Amon Green back into Tennessee territory. First down and much more. All the way to the 36 of the Vols. Darwin Walker and Raynoch Thompson brought down Green after a gain of 29.
This is a little shovel pass that Nebraska runs. It's almost like an inverted option play. Instead of the back being on the upfield of the quarterback, it's underneath. And the quarterback, Frost, just shovels it to Amon Green. He gets a great block by Bobby Newcomb, number 12, the wide receiver. And Amon Green is a very powerful back, and he'll punish you rather than run out of bounds. He'll run right through you.
How about Darwin Walker downfield again to catch up with Green? 1st and 10. Nebraska at the Tennessee 36. Green cuts back. Green delivering a ball, and he got knocked down by Leonard Little. Terry Fair had the first hit low. And Green just smiled at Little, was barking a bit in the face of Amon after the hit.
Watch the Outland Trophy winner. Well, there's some hitting going on down there, Sean. And number 67, Aaron Taylor, the Outland Trophy winner, the left guard, made a great block to open up that cutback lane for Green.
Sims still the eye back. The give to Makovica. Short gain. Al Wilson wrapped him up. Makovica Green and Frost, the starting backfield, have combined this season for 3,657 yards rushing and 50 touchdowns.
Well, and when you run behind this big offensive line, number 67, the left guard right there, Aaron Taylor, he just took the nose guard, knocked him 5 yards off the ball with the center, and they create a little void in that defense. But Tennessee's quick enough to fill it up with some of the defender.
And it's still Sims, the I-back. They hand it off to Wiggins, and he is close to a first down. Shevin Wiggins had just one rush all season prior to tonight. He's handled it on a couple of occasions tonight, including the 10-yard run for the second Nebraska touchdown.
I think Nebraska will go for this. They run 68 running plays per game on average.
Almost a guaranteed field goal for Brown is made in 16 in a row, but the first down is almost an automatic, as Terry suggests. Given the prowess on the ground by Nebraska, and was Frost, and the keeper. First and 10 at the 14-yard line, and the time is becoming a factor. 55 seconds left.
Look at the push by this big offensive line. They just moved the line of scrimmage. They'll get their pads underneath. Frost easily makes the first down behind Aaron Taylor, the left guard.
Now this formation, all the backs lined up in the eye.
This is a stack eye.
And it's Frost. He ran into trouble and put it on the ground. And it is still free. And Tennessee has recovered. First turnover of the night by Nebraska, and a big one. Jonathan Brown came up with the ball after Terry Fair and Anthony Hampton combined to level Scott Frost and knock the ball loose.
Well, Scott Frost on the option just gets stripped. It's just a great play by Terry Fay.
Finally, a turnover goes in favor of Coach Fulmer. Lewis up through a big hole. Look at him power his way across the 40. And now Tennessee will use a timeout, a running play to see if they could get something to get some breathing room and then perhaps take a chance, and that's what they'll do now. One timeout left for the Volunteers, 26 seconds left in the half. They're out at the 42.
When you're backed up like Tennessee was, whatever you do, you don't want to turn the ball over. It's a great lead block by the fullback, Sean Bryson, and Jamal Lewis showing why he is such a strong runner as a freshman tailback. I think Tennessee may take a shot down the field with 26 seconds left in the half here.
Why not? Now that they're at the 42. Manning hit as he throws. That might be a compelling argument. Why not? Grant Wistrom finally got to Peyton Manning. No problems with the knee as Manning gets back up with 23 seconds left in the half. Second and 10.
Well, and it's surprising because Tennessee's line has done a reasonable job tonight giving Peyton Manning plenty of time, but on this particular play, Grant Wistrom coming on an inside stunt puts tremendous pressure on Peyton, and like you say, you worry about that knee as the game goes on.
3 straight incompletions thrown by Manning. Second and 10. Peter got through, but the pass is caught by Marcus Nash. Nash hit hard, but he held on at the 40. And Tennessee looking to the sideline to see if the last timeout will be used. Tony Ortiz made that hard hit on Nash. They have one timeout left. And I don't think Peyton wanted it called. But it was. You can see him hollering at his teammates.
Yeah, you really needed to save that timeout for your field goal team, Sean. Peyton Manning easily could have gotten up down the ball. He had more downs than time left. He had 4 downs because it was a first down. He could have used the down, saved the timeout for the field goal team. Peyton Manning under real pressure there by Jason Peter, number 55.
15 seconds left and no timeouts. If they go over the middle, they'd have to get up very quickly to spike.
Get out of bounds.
Oh, he stayed in bounds and lunges for a first down. The one break for Tennessee could be that it's close to a first down. They should at least stop the clock for a measurement here. The officials conferring and the half ends. I think that's a very bad piece of officiating there. They otherwise had a good half, but that was right at the 30-yard line and very close to a first down. But it took the referee, Terry McCauley, a long time to get in position to see. He tried to stop the clock just as the half end, waving his arms over his head.
Well, the key is Jermaine Copeland, Sean, has to get the ball out of bounds. The yardage is nowhere near as important as the time. Get the ball out of bounds so your coaches and players can have one more shot at a field goal or at the touchdown.
No question about that. Let's go to Michelle Tafoya.
All right, with Tom Osborne, well, turnovers have certainly been key. 3 by the Vols have led to 14 points for you, but 1 there before the half really changed the momentum a bit.
Yeah, that was a big play because it looked like we could really get up on them pretty good there. But, you know, it's been a while since each team's played. It's been 3-4 weeks, and sometimes you see that. But hopefully we can take better care of it in the second half.
What's been the difference between your offense being able to drive and not being able to drive?
Well, I think we threw the ball a few times there and got them off our backs, and that helped a little bit. So we're going to have to mix it up.
Coach, good luck.
Okay, thanks, Michelle.
Peyton Manning frustrated late in the half. They could not get the spike to stop the clock. That's the end of the first half. The score: Nebraska 14 and Tennessee 3. Ready for the start of the second half. Number 2 Nebraska with an 11-point lead over number 3 Tennessee. And Nebraska will get the ball first in the second half. Joe Walker among the men back deep for the Cornhuskers. Chevin Wiggins standing alongside. Here's Jeff Hall with the kickoff. And a good boot with the wind. And it'll be down to the back of the end zone by Wiggins. Sean McDonough and Terry Donahue. Obviously the 3 turnovers, Terry, very costly to Tennessee in the first half. But the good news for them, Nebraska had just 69 yards rushing, and Peyton Manning was not sacked.
Well, the Tennessee offensive line has certainly played better than anticipated. Tennessee's throwing the ball very quickly, though, and they only have 100 yards in total passing yardage. But the shocking thing is Tennessee has rushed for as many yards, more yards. They've rushed for 80. Nebraska only 69. They're the #1 rushing team in America.
Nebraska on the ground on the first play of the second half, and Amon Green went out across the 25.
Sean, during the last 2 years that I've watched Tennessee, I've never seen them play as good on defense as they're playing tonight. They are really doing an excellent job against this Nebraska offensive football team.
Fewest yards rushing Nebraska has had in one game this season is 335. No opponent has held them under 335. It was Texas A&M that held them, quote unquote, to 335 in the Big 12 championship. Frost a late pitch, but right on target. And Amon Green is out of bounds with a first down just across the 30-yard line. Chased out by Gerald Griffin. Here's a look at the first half stats. 3 turnovers, very costly to Tennessee. It led directly to the 14 Nebraska points.
Well, and this is critical right there. And remember, Scott Frost has carried the ball 8 times in the first half for a .4-yard average. He's under a yard per carry, which is just a tremendous job by that defense.
On 1st and 10, Green cuts back and lunges forward off the hit of Corey Gaines. The quarterback comparison, both with an impressive percentage, but as Terry mentioned a moment ago, the yardage totals aren't very high.
No, they really aren't. I think Tennessee in this half will try to put the ball down the field a little further now that they believe they can protect. They proved that in the first half, that they can protect Peyton Manning. He's on the target tonight. He's on the money. He looks good to me.
5 or 6 hours a day in the training room for Peyton Manning have certainly paid off. His knee is held up well. Makovica rumbling into the secondary. Terry Fair trying to collar him, and finally he did at the 41-yard line of Tennessee. 24-yard gain for Joel Makovica, the junior from Brainerd, Nebraska.
And Joel Makovica reminds the Nebraska people of Rathburn, the great fullback who played at Nebraska, then the 49ers. It's just a little roll play to the fullback. He finds the seam behind the big offensive line, breaks a tackle, spins out, and then drags Tennessee for the first down. This is a walk-on, a former walk-on, one of the famous Nebraska walk-ons.
From a football family, his brother Jeff was Nebraska's starting fullback in 1995. Frost keeps Raynoch Thompson, who's been in and out of the game with a sprained ankle. Wrapped up Frost, but Scott advanced the ball to the 37-yard line. A gain of 4. You mentioned Makovica from a football family. Not only did his brother Jeff play at Nebraska, but their dad John was an NAIA All-American at Kearney State in the late 60s and was inducted into the Nebraska College Football Hall of Fame in the fall of '96. 6.5 yards per rush. Best among all fullbacks in the nation.
Boy, and certainly Nebraska's best blocking fullback. He does so many things for Nebraska.
Nice block by Billy Legate, who took over from Makovica at fullback. He cleared a path for Ramon Green. And Corey Gaines and Gerald Griffin had to take him down to the secondary. First down, Nebraska. The Huskers impressively on the move to begin the second half.
Watch Billy Legate, the fullback, number 40, Sean. You mentioned his block. He's right here. He's going to isolate on the linebacker for Tennessee. This is why tailbacks can cut back. He really makes a tremendous block, which opens that hole.
2 minutes into the second half. 14-3 Nebraska. And one long drive in the first half, a 78-yard touchdown drive. They're marching here. That play goes to the 20 for Ramon Green. Leonard Little and Corey Gaines combining to put the stop on Green.
It seems to me like Tom Osborne and his coaches went in at halftime and said, hey, fellas, we've never had 69 yards rushing at halftime against anybody. We're going to go back out there and control the line of scrimmage and start to establish a running game.
Already more rushing yards on this drive than they had in either of the first 2 quarters of the football game. Second down and 7. Out of the shotgun. They love quarterback draw out of the shotgun. And Frost is very close to a first down. Al Wilson and Leonard Little on the stop.
Philip Fulmer seen there on the sidelines, got to be concerned. You know, you go in at halftime, you're in the ball game, you know your team's made some turnovers, some mistakes that has really hurt you in the ball game. You come out, you want to get off to a good start in the second half, and here Nebraska takes the opening kickoff and is really mounting a powerful drive. And I say power because they've kept it on the ground and they're knocking them off the ball right now, something they were unable to do in the first half.
It is a first down. And historically, that's been the case. This Nebraska attack wears out the defense. After a while, it's harder and harder to stand up to the pounding from this relentless rushing attack. From the 13, first and 10. Newcomb. Bobby's down at the 5. He lunged ahead to move the ball toward the 4. He came into Nebraska as a quarterback, an outstanding prospect out of Albuquerque, recruited by most of the top programs in the nation. They moved him to wingback this season, but Frank Solich will be the new head coach after this game. Says he will get a look at Newcomb at quarterback to replace Frost in the spring.
Well, and you can certainly understand that, Sean. He's one of the fastest guys on Nebraska's team. Tom Osborne with a little counterplay there to Bobby Newcomb to take advantage of the fast flow of Tennessee's defense.
Green following Joel Makovica's block. Green has the first down. And it'll be first and goal for the Huskers at the 2. Well, this is the last game for Tom Osborne after 25 years as head coach. There's Frank Solich. 19 years as an assistant to Osborne, former outstanding running back at Nebraska back in the mid-60s. And Solich will take over. Frank Solich actually knew before the season began that this would be Tom Osborne's last year. So Tom told me this was going to be it. But the 2 of them kept it a secret. 11th play of the drive, and it is stopped at the goal line. Leonard Little put the pop on Ramon Green. Tom Osborne has a number of longtime assistants, but no lack of harmony on the staff. The rest of the staff members knew 6 years ago when Osborne made Solich the assistant head coach that really was Tom's way of designating Solich as the man he'd like to see succeed him.
Well, and Tom said the timing for him to retire was perfect because he could help influence who his successor would be. The university president and athletic director agreed with the decision.
Frost up and over and in for a touchdown. An impressive opening drive. Never mind the passes or the play action fakes. Nebraska goes back to its bread and butter. And they made that look easy. Chris Brown on for the extra point. And it is good. An 80-yard drive by Nebraska to begin the second half. An impressive opening drive to begin the second half by Nebraska. And the lead is 21-3 for the Cornhuskers. Tennessee about to get the ball for the first time in the second half. Cedric Wilson took Chris Brown's kickoff at the goal line. Nice moves to get across the 20. And now he powers out to the 27. Nice return by Wilson. On that drive, 12 plays, 80 yards, 74 of them on the ground. And the one pass, which the official score deemed the pass, was that shovel pass. They had 74 yards rushing on the opening drive of the half after 69 yards rushing the entire first half. Jamal Lewis out to the 29. A gain of 2 for the freshman.
Sean, in visiting with Philip Fulmer this week prior to the game, he said one of the things that we have to do to win this game, we've got to answer when Nebraska scores. Nebraska's really tough when they get ahead by a couple touchdowns because they control the ball on you because they're a ground-oriented game, and so they consequently eat up the clock. Philip says we've got to come back and answer. This is an important drive.
On 2nd and 8, and they show patience with the run, but it yields nothing that time. Mike Rucker and Jason Peter at the bottom of the pile for Nebraska. And it'll be 3rd down and 8.
Nebraska's gone to their nickel package, put their 5th defensive back in the game, expecting pass.
3 wide receivers, no tight end for Tennessee. Manning running out of time. He's sacked by Mike Rucker. The first sack of Manning tonight.
Mike Rucker, the left defensive end, number 84. He runs a little inside stunt move. He's the one that comes underneath, slips on a little crack in the Tennessee line there to sack Peyton Manning. Peyton just never had time to get that arm cocked and get the ball down the field.
Now Chris Hogue with his worst punt of the night. But he did get a good bounce. Hogue averaged 61 yards per punt on 3 punts in the first half. That one wound up going 43. Back in a moment. Nebraska on offense for the second time in the second half. They stay on the ground. It's Ahman Green with running room again. Out to the 35. Terry, obviously just before the break, you didn't have a chance to finish your thought about the Nebraska offense.
Well, Sean, I was making the point, it's such a tough offense to stop because they run 1-back, 2-back, 3-back offense. They have multiple formations, an option game, a power game with their tailback, a trap game with their fullback, a mobile quarterback, and all of a sudden they just stress you on defense until you come apart. And you couple all that with some quality play action passing. It's just hard to defend it.
Green up the middle, and he ran into Raynoch Thompson. Might be having the best game of his career tonight. They've seen him several times, and can't remember Thompson being as much of a factor as he has been in this one. Well, some question Tennessee as a number 3 team. The players all talk about it. They've developed a reputation for not winning the big one, in large part because they haven't been able to defeat Florida during the Peyton Manning era, and before that actually. But I think we're seeing tonight this is a very good Tennessee team. A lot of good athletes who can really run on defense.
No question. They played the Nebraska offense as well in that first half as any defense I've ever seen play against the Nebraska offense. If their own offense hadn't turned it over, I'm not sure Nebraska would have scored in the first half.
Frost pitched it at the last second. Look out. Ahman Green with 1 man to beat. And he could not beat him. Terry Fair made the touchdown saving tackle at the 21-yard line of Tennessee. A 43-yard pickup for Green.
Frost is the master, the magician with running the option play. He comes down the line of scrimmage here. He gets the ball pitched. Sometimes he never even looks. This time he does. He lays it off perfectly. Makovica leading the way, and Ahman Green, the speedster, gets a crack in the defense and then just turns it downfield.
He now has 113 yards rushing. Frost keeps. Frost, touchdown! He might still be cramping up a little bit. You saw him trying to stretch as he went into the end zone.
Scott Frost was certainly silenced in the first half, but has responded in the second half. This is a design quarterback keep. He follows the tailback, Ahman Green. He's the only guy that's supposed to have the ball on this play. He's a great runner. They want him to carry it into the end zone.
Frost had a Nebraska record 19 rushing touchdowns during the regular season. That's the school record for quarterbacks. And he has 2 tonight. They don't count on the stats, and bowl games do not factor in. That run went 11. It's 28-3. The Cornhuskers starting to make a statement. Sean McDonough with Terry Donahue, Michelle Tafoy, and Ed Cunningham. Delighted to have you with us for the FedEx Orange Bowl from Miami. Nebraska has taken control, leading by 25. Still 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Cedric Wilson ran into traffic at the 27-yard line.
Kicking them out there for you. Get better, Mom. All right, woo.
First and 10. Tennessee needs to do something, and they need to do it quickly. A pass caught by Marcus Nash, the senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma. With 76 catches coming into tonight, but he's had a quiet night in this one.
Well, he really has, Sean. Tennessee's been unable to get the ball very effectively to Marcus Nash. One of the adjustments Tennessee has just made, they went to the shotgun that time. They've not been in the shotgun very often, but the pressure is starting to mount on Peyton Manning, and they're trying to get him off the line a little bit.
From the 32, 2nd and 6. A lob looking for Nash. He has it. And he's across midfield. Erwin Sweeney made the tackle. They had one-on-one coverage. And Nash has a 20-yard gain on his 4th reception of the night.
Well, this is a great job. Marcus Nash getting off the bump and run coverage of Erwin Sweeney, the freshman, number 16. And Peyton Manning lays this ball up beautifully. Nash goes up, tremendous concentration. Peyton Manning here under rush. They got him on that knee a little bit.
Clock down to 3 minutes and change remaining in the third quarter. Lewis close to another first down. He had one man to beat. He was gone. Instead, it's a gain of 9. And it'll be 2nd and 1 at the 28-yard line of Nebraska.
Well, Sean, that was a nice cut by Jamal Lewis, the freshman tailback. He made a couple Cornhuskers miss there. He is a powerful runner. We're looking at a guy I think will be the next Heisman Trophy candidate at the University of Tennessee as he gets a little more experience, a little more maturity.
He has 67 yards rushing tonight on 13 carries. He gets the handoff again, burst through the hole, ran into his own man, and that might have prevented a touchdown. Instead, he's down at the 5-yard line. Tackled by Eric Johnson, a reserve linebacker. 23 yards on the rush for Lewis, and the Volunteers are on the move.
Well, Jamal Lewis on the isolation play finds a crack in the Nebraska defense. He will go ahead and cut this ball back, and he's going to run in to Jermaine Copeland. Number 6 is right in the way. He makes the tackle, or at least prevents the touchdown for sure.
Hold him down long enough for Johnson to make the stop. First and goal at the 5. Manning looking in the end zone, running out of time, throws, touchdown! Peerless Price with the reception for the Tennessee score. And it appears they will go for 2. You saw Manning holding up the 2 fingers, and the sideline held up 2, looking back at the offense.
Peyton Manning Green is a quarterback who can throw on the run as well as he works out of the pocket. Tennessee does a good job. They get him away from the pressure of Nebraska by sprinting him out, buying him time enough to find the open receiver.
It's amazing how much better Peyton Manning's knee is in just a couple of days. We watched him practice that play a couple of days ago, and he really hobbled as he rolled to his right. Tonight, no sign of any hit.
Sean, it's amazing. I didn't think he was healthy for the ball game, but he clearly is.
Out of the shotgun, the try for 2. He throws incomplete. Looking again for Peerless Price. Erwin Sweeney had the coverage. So it's 28-9 with 1:58 remaining in the third quarter. The FedEx Orange Bowl from Miami. Back in Miami at Pro Player Stadium. The second year, the home of the FedEx Orange Bowl. And Smokies here for the first time since 1968. That's the last time the Vols were in this game. This is their 4th appearance in the Orange Bowl overall. They're 1-2 coming into this one. Good kickoff by Jeff Hall with the wind, and Chevin Wiggins had to down it. Frost hands off. Amon Green. Terry Fair in pursuit at the 40. And Fair took him down at the 32-yard line. 47 more for Green.
Watch Aaron Taylor, number 67, the left guard. He'll come down and crush the Tennessee nose guard. That creates a huge opening in the defense that allows Amon Green to get through it. The Nebraska offensive line has really come to play in the second half.
The veteran group, they'll lose 6 of their top 7 offensive linemen to graduation, so that'll be the first major challenge for Frank Solich as he takes over as head coach. Joel Makovica banged down to the 25. That's a gain of 8. Nebraska had 69 yards rushing in the first half. They now have 271 for the game.
And the last 2 runs, Sean, have come right behind the center. Josh Heskew, number 59, and Aaron Taylor, 67, the left guard, along with Fred Pollock, 73. They run again to the left.
And Green is close to another first down. He appears to have it at the 22-yard line, under a minute remaining third quarter. Now you start to wonder if it stays this way, if Nebraska builds on the lead, what is happening to minds of pollsters in the AP poll and in the coaches poll. I think Tennessee has proven, despite the score, it's worthy of a very high ranking. They're certainly one of the best teams in the nation, and Nebraska is starting to take firm control, something Michigan never did yesterday. Touchdown, Amon Green. Flag down at the 3-yard line. And it is a touchdown, says Terry McCauley. 22 yards on the run by Green.
This play is successful because Scott Frost is the master at running the option. But what a block by Joel Makovica, number 45, the fullback. He'll be way out in the corner. Frost comes down, pitches. Watch 45, the lead blocker. He gets the Tennessee man down that allows that crease to open up for Amon Green.
Chris Brown adds another extra point. Makovica playing courageously with a very sore hamstring, but he told us a couple of days ago there would be nothing that would keep him out of this game.
Well, and he just won't come out of a football game. They say if they do get him out, he'll rest a play or two and he'll want right back onto the field.
Coach Fulmer's team did run the table to earn him a contract extension announced a couple of days ago through the year 2003 with a hefty pay raise. He'll make about $750,000 per year over the course of that contract.
Oh, it's amazing what's happened to contracts in college football.
Said that as if he might ponder going back.
No.
Darden out to the 30-yard line. Just a couple of wins against the Gators. He would be a fully beloved figure in the state of Tennessee. Lewis tackled from behind by Jason Peter. Terrific play by Peter when it looked like Lewis was ready to break away. You wonder if the Vols are going to go without a huddle now. They won't have time, it seems, to get another play off in the third quarter. They do not. The third quarter dominated by Nebraska. Cornhuskers trying to make a statement for the national championship. End of 3, 35-9 Nebraska. We'll return to the FedEx Orange Bowl after this message and a word from your local station. Well, back in Miami and an artist at work. Tom Osborne and Peyton Manning, each in his final game at his respective university. Manning throws very short out to the 34-yard line, perhaps the 35, a gain of 2. Well, it used to be people would talk in college football about if you rely on the run, you can't score quickly. That's one of the weaknesses. Well, we saw 21 points and a blizzard of rushing yards. Unbelievable performance in that third quarter by Nebraska.
No question about it. What's interesting is why has it happened all of a sudden? And I think one of the reasons Tennessee's not tackling as well this half as they did in the first half.
Nebraska 227 yards rushing in the third quarter. Jamal Lewis chopped down short of a first down, about a yard short. Brandon Harrison, junior from Gainesville, Texas. Backup quarterback made the tackle. He's in his first year at Nebraska as a junior college transfer. On a maze, down 35-9. 14 minutes left. 1 yard to go. They're punting. Another nose up spiral of beauty again. Shevin Wiggins from the 20, straight up the middle and down to the 28-yard line. 48 yards on the punt by Hogue. Frustration continues for Peyton Manning and Tennessee. Huskers at their own 38. Frost, the pitch to Green, running room in the corner. He's into Tennessee territory. Down at the 47-yard line.
You know what's interesting too, Sean? The Nebraska offense, you could only run this style of offense in certain atmospheres. There's a lot of places around the country you can't run this offense. The fans don't like it. It's not wide open enough in some people's mind because it's so run-oriented and people want to throw the ball. But this offense is perfect for Lincoln, Nebraska. They love it. All they do is win, set a 5-year record for the best record in the history of college football with it.
Makovica dancing through traffic. Look at Frost hustling downfield to throw a block. Torrey Noel made the tackle with a 37. First down, Nebraska.
The physicalness of the Nebraska offense has just worn Tennessee down in the second half. Tennessee played tremendous defense in the first half, but now that powerful offensive line and that relentless attack by the Big Red is just wearing them down, and they've had a lot of injuries as well on defense. A lot of players have left the game.
Jay Sims back in at I-back. Here he goes. Almost went the distance. Deion Grant made the tackle. 14 for Sims. He is the I-back. Amon Green is 1 yard short of the Orange Bowl rushing record with 204 yards tonight.
Well, I think it's safe to say if Amon Green gets back into the game, he'll get that Orange Bowl record the way these holes are beginning to really open up against the Tennessee defense.
The true freshman, Burrell Buckhalter, is in it. I-back now. And Frost might be changing the play. 5 on the play clock. Here's Buckhalter. Fresh legs riding down inside the 15-yard line. Unprecedented run of success for this senior class, the recruiting class of 1993 for Nebraska. The 48-2 record, the best ever. 2 national titles, perhaps a third. 3 conference titles and a perfect record at home. Other than that, they didn't do much.
Sean, the offense is overpowering. It might be easier to stop the Big Red Army of China than the Big Red Army of Lincoln, Nebraska.
Green needs a yard to tie the record. That looks like a gain of 2. Jonathan Brown made the stop. That is a 2-yard gain officially for Green, and he now has the Orange Bowl record for rushing yards in a game, 206. On 29 carries, breaking the mark set by Roland Sales of Arkansas against Oklahoma in the 1978 Orange Bowl. Makovica inside the 10, fumble, and it's still free. And you wonder, not to overly dramatize the point, if that could be a national championship saving recovery for the Cornhuskers. If every point matters and votes are being swayed based on comparative scores and the like, then this is big.
You watch the power and the precision of the Nebraska offense, and it's unmatched in the country. No one has an offensive team as powerful as this one. They just don't. Michigan certainly has a top-ranked defense, the best defense in the country.
Frost scores another touchdown. His third of the night.
Well, Scott Frost certainly has stepped it up a notch here in the second half. It's the fake to the fullback, follow the tailback. It's a design keeper. They've run it about 8 times tonight. That's what Scott Frost has responded with in the second half.
Chris Brown added the extra point. 42-9 Nebraska. 42-9 for Nebraska. The question becomes, is it enough to get the Cornhuskers a piece, at the very least, of the national championship? Tom Osborne's 1-2. Been a part of the program for 4 in his 36 years at Nebraska. Started in 1962 as an assistant to Bob Devaney. Chris Brown to kick off. That's Cedric Wilson back deep. Good kick with the wind. Wilson. It's a touchback. And it looks like Peyton Manning's career at Tennessee is over, as T. Martin has a helmet on. He's ready to run onto the field.
Well, I think this is certainly understandable. Peyton Manning has done absolutely everything he could in his power for the University of Tennessee. This is a good opportunity for T. Martin. Also, you make sure Peyton Manning comes out of this game healthy. I think this is the right decision.
Why not give Manning one more play and let him run off to an ovation that he has deserved?
Well, either way, but not a lot of Tennessee fans left here, John.
Handoff up the middle. Travis Stevens, a true freshman, taking the handoff. Manning ends his career holding every passing record at the University of Tennessee. The SEC Player of the Year this year. And he ranks #1 all time in the SEC in completion percentage and completions, and in lowest interception ratio.
And you know he hates ending his career like this. He's such a fierce competitor.
Martin over the middle to Sean Bryson. Well, the point was made at the top of the telecast. He might have cost himself some money because he didn't come out last year. I think he could care less about that. He's going to make more money in all likelihood than he'll ever need.
That's right.
And he came back because he wanted to be a senior in college and experience the entirety of what that entails as a student and as an athlete.
You know, Sean, you're right. He came back for all the right reasons. Things didn't work out exactly probably as he would have wished, but that's life, and you learn something there too. That's all part of the experience, and he talked about the experience. That's why he came back. He wanted to continue with his college education and with that experience.
Let's turn our attention to the larger issue now. Who is #1? The best team in the nation. This situation again cries out for a playoff because it's obviously difficult to choose either team. Whichever team is not the national championship is going to feel that it is shortchanged with good reason. But here's the statistical comparison. Our crew, I don't think, was overly generous in awarding Nebraska a victory in this game. Nice throw by Martin. And Andy McCullough's running free in the secondary. You know, much was made that Michigan played the tougher schedule, but I think as we look at the bowl game results, Terry, the Big Ten might have been exposed for not being as strong as people said it was all season long. The Big Ten really struggled in bowl games, 2 and 5, including Michigan's victory. And their out-of-conference games, Baylor and Notre Dame and Colorado. Beginning of the year, that looks tough, but Notre Dame had a disappointing year. Colorado had a very disappointing year. Baylor was not a very good team. Where Nebraska, out of the league, went out and played a very good Washington team in Seattle, as you know, one of the toughest places in the nation to play, and won easily.
Well, I think if you're one of the AP 70 writers who are going to vote on this decision, or one of the 62 coaches who vote in the coaches poll, you've got to really sit down and think about this, because it would be in many ways, to me, a tragedy if Brian Griese and Charles Woodson, you look at Griese, the road of a walk-on to MVP in the Rose Bowl, Woodson, the Heisman Trophy winner. If they don't get a share of the national championship, there's something wrong. They did everything they were asked to do. But at the same time, Scott Frost and Joel Makovicka and those guys, they did everything they were asked to do.
I think if these two teams played, Michigan and Nebraska, Nebraska would be the favorite. Remember, we listened to a radio program here in South Florida today, and who cares what the odds makers say, but they called out, and the odds maker said Nebraska would be the favorite in the game by about a touchdown.
Well, that might be, but Sean, I have my own personal beliefs, and I really think that the national championship should be shared by these two teams. That's just what I believe. I remember in '90, Colorado, Georgia Tech, they shared it.
I agree with you, by the way.
91.
I'm just saying,
I know you
for
do.
those who awarded the thing to Michigan after they won yesterday, that really shortchanges this Nebraska team.
That's just
and,
not.
I agree with you. They both deserve it. One, if it isn't a split, somebody is going to be deservedly very upset.
I remember in '91, Miami, Washington. I had a vote in the coaches poll in '90 and '91, and I voted both teams in the first place. And I just think you better weigh it, because, boy, a national championship is such a special thing to players and coaches. It means so much.
Team Martin can really run. He's inside the 5 with 1:02 remaining, an 11-yard gain. Well, it's up to the voters now. Each team stated its case over the last 2 days. And unfortunately, that Super Alliance, which comes in next year, may not solve the problem. This year, you could have had 3 undefeated teams, all with a great claim for #1 if Florida State had won at Florida. First and goal from the 3. T. Martin into the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. Andy McCullough. Well, the heir apparent to Peyton Manning drives the Volunteers down the field, and final act for Grant Wistrom and Jason Peter at Nebraska, it seems, will be to give Tom Osborne a bath.
Well, you got to be impressed with T. Martin coming in off the bench. He took that team right on down to the score and throws across his body there and finds an open receiver in the end zone.
Well, they're all set.
I'm telling you, that is cold when you get that little shower there, but you love every second of it.
Now the try for 2. Martin was 4 for 4 on that drive. He swings it out, and there's the 2-point conversion for Travis Stevens, the true freshman from Clarksville, Tennessee. 42-17, Nebraska. Looks like they're trying to give him some sort of a championship cap, and Tom said, that's okay, I like the one I'm on. You wouldn't expect him to change. So little has changed about the man and his program over the last 36 years. They still run the same offense and defenses that Bob Devaney put in with help from Tom Osborne. They have the same numbering system. I mean, it's as if nothing has changed in that 36-year span. The one thing that certainly has not changed is winning. They've had 36 straight winning seasons.
Well, I look at Tom Osborne, 25 years head coach, 25 straight bowls. I mean, it's incredible the job that he has done.
As college football fans well know, he's not an emotional man, but you sense looking at the face that the emotions are now stirring, the realization that In 58 seconds, he'll walk off the sideline for the last time. And Nebraska will be the land of Oz no longer. Onside kick recovered, but he was out of bounds, it seemed, from here. And the legacy of Tom Osborne.
Here we go.
There, ooh, another bath added to that legacy. And a hug from Jason Peter. And you can say what you want about the decisions he's made relative to some players over the years, but by and large, the vast majority of Nebraska players have been outstanding in the classroom, outstanding in the community. They have had some problems off the field. Some have questioned Osborne's decisions in that realm, but you can't deny that he does care unbelievably about his players, and they return that affection.
No question about it. And there's not a program in America that hasn't had some form of problems. Nebraska isn't any different than anybody else when it comes to that.
Clearly one of the great coaches of all time. And he's 20 seconds away from the career-ending victory. Only fitting that it would end with a victory and perhaps a national championship for Tom Osborne. He leaves us with 255 wins. And not a happy ending for Peyton Manning as he heads toward the NFL. Tom Osborne heads for a fishing pole. Let's check in with Armin Katayan.
Peyton, obviously, first 3 turnovers in the first half, tough to overcome to give the ball away to Nebraska.
Yeah, that killed us. So you can't turn the ball over against a great team like Nebraska and expect to win. And that really hurt us. We were hoping to play mistake-free football. We didn't do it. That hurt us.
The wind, the pressure from the defense.
Not really just hurt ourselves most of the game. They're a great defense, and you know if you give them anything easy, their offense is going to make you pay. But we really hurt ourselves all night.
One professional question. Indianapolis has the first pick. Does that matter to you?
I really don't know at this point. You know, it's my last college game, but now that it's over, I'll kind of make the next move, and we'll just see what happens.
Class act, Peyton. Sean, back to you.
Thank you, Armin. 42-17, the final. As the Cornhuskers close out the 9th undefeated and untied season in the history of Nebraska football.
Chanting T.O. in the crowd for none other than Tom Osborne, who has just coached his very last game. But without further ado, let's turn it over to Leslie Pantine, president of the Orange Bowl, to present the Orange Bowl trophy.
On behalf of the Orange Bowl committee and all the people in Miami, congratulations to the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and especially to Dr. Tom Osborne. Thank you very much.
Also here, Commissioner of the Big 12 Conference, Steve Hatchell, to present the Alliance Trophy. Steve.
Thank you, Michelle. On behalf of all of the conferences and teams in the Bowl Alliance, we'd like to present this trophy to you, Tom, for not only an outstanding season, but to a great career. We want to congratulate the University of Tennessee for a wonderful football season, and to the Southeast Conference for all of the great things they did in football this year. And in presenting this, Tom, I think the best part is that maybe tomorrow there'll be another trophy you can get as well. Congratulations.
You want to hand it to somebody, Steve? So, okay.
Coach, congratulations. A decisive win, to say the least. And given that and all of the other circumstances, what are your thoughts tonight on the national championship picture?
Well, I'm very proud of our team. I think we did all we could. We won 13, and that's all we played. And so I'm very proud of these guys. I thought they played a great game.
This is the last game for you in 25 years at Nebraska. You've coached your last game. How much of that has sunk in so far?
Well, it's a kind of a bittersweet moment. Very proud of the players. Have great appreciation for our coaching staff. Most of what's happened has been due to their efforts and the players. We have great fans. I want to thank them for being here. So it's a great night for Nebraska.
Coach, congratulations.
Thanks, Michelle.
We'll be back with more after this.